I look at the mirror and say, "Thank you, dear Lord, for another day." And it's day by day in the middle of the Pacific, and hopefully the news on the Coconut Wireless is positive.
So maybe we should just start with your name.
James Junius Johnson
Mm-hmm.
the second,
Mm-hmm.
aka Junius O'Brennan.
And can I just get a verbal on-camera consent to do this interview with you? You can just say, I consent to being videotaped.
I give you consent to videotape me and my ideas and memories and whatever other rights.
And then if after the fact, after we get done recording, if there's anything maybe that you say in the heat of the moment that maybe I should leave that out.
That I want to get edited out.
Or maybe something that you don't want to be shown until after you're gone. If there's anything like that, maybe we can have that discussion.
This is my 72nd birthday, and
What year were you born?
I am totally surprised that I got this far. I was born on August 14th, 1937, and I hopefully I can get stuff off my chest, and that you'll discover things that I don't even know I know until I start talking about them. So let's get going.
Okay.
So the first image that I had of Malia was really an independent, smart, professional lady. I later met her at Cisco's and was introduced to her when we had a community breakfast at one time. And it turned out that there was a woman in our community who was her friend and a colleague at the nursing school, and she was trying to get her to meet me, and she was adamant that she did not want any body making matches for her, and it turned out I remember that when we started dating, this friend of hers named Deanie was very concerned that she was getting serious about the relationship with me. And so she came to her and said, "Well, you need to talk to his ex-wife before you get in any further." And so there was this situation where Dee Dee and Malia and she hadn't changed her name from Mary at that time, went and had a conversation with my ex-wife Edie, and when she came back, I was kind of very nervous about how that meeting had gone, and I asked how she would characterize it, and she said, "Well, I don't think I would use her as a reference." And I thought that was an interesting characterization of the meeting, and it didn't seem to bother her, although there were times when I would wake up in the bed with her, and I would get the feeling that she had had one eye on me all night, trying to make an assessment of my character, so to speak. I moved in with her and tried to develop relationships with her two sons, John and Charles, and eventually she really needed and wanted to leave Austin, and her girlfriend, this same girlfriend that had introduced her to Edie, was leaving for Hawaii, so she invited her to go with her to Hawaii. And so she went through the decision making, and I was supportive of her doing that, even though I knew that would make it very difficult for me to maintain a relationship with her. So she did go to Hawaii, and then our relationship was kind of put on hold until I made a decision to take my oldest son and go visit her in Hawaii, and to try to maintain the courtship that had been developing. And it was in that situation that we really formulated a household with her two sons and my oldest son, only son, and that was so we lived in Hawaii together for about 6 months, and then I left to come back to Austin, and she was going to be coming back at the end of the semester there, the school year, and I offered to take her youngest son and have him travel with us, and basically, well, we traveled for about 3 or 4 weeks hitchhiking from out of the LA airport, and then going up the west coast to San Francisco and Berkeley and Oregon, Salem, Oregon, and coming back down and across. Had a wonderful 3-week hitchhiking experience with my son and my potential stepson, and when I got back, I made arrangements for us having a marriage. We had a 3-day hippie marriage, and with all 7 of the kids, 6 of the kids, and the community that the alternative community that we were part of was the main members, or was the main members of the wedding ceremony. And I always felt like because of the number of kids that we had, and 6 of them were teenagers at that time, that I think most people thought it would last about 60 days and it would be over, and it's lasted over 35 years. And it's been a very interesting experience being a father, stepfather, and for my oldest for her oldest son, Charles Jr., he was already grown, so that relationship was never a real stepfather relationship, but it was it was a different kind of relationship that was very appropriate, and it's grown over the years, and I've been very lucky to have relationships at that level with six very interesting people and with their own personalities and probably their own take on who I was, where I was coming from. I think that the most important thing that happened to me was getting a divorce. My Edie had the way she thought that children should be raised and everything like that, and we just didn't agree on anything in that realm, and her expectations of who I was and what I should be doing and what would deal just weren't the expectations I have of myself. And being Catholic and going through a divorce is really, that's a heavy process. But in the end, I'm a much better person because I'm relating to Malia Johnson, who our relationship, our kids created a situation that Malia and I had to cooperate, trust, and work together seamlessly, or we weren't going to be successful in raising the kids. And I think I'm proud of where we were when we got, where our kids, how they've developed as individuals, and etc. So I have major concerns for James. That's an honest place to be. A tremendous level of confidence in Carrie and Francine and John and Charles and Timmy. I don't know about Michelle. I haven't had contact with her for 3 years. I hope that changes, but I don't. At 72, this is my 72nd, yesterday was my 72nd birthday. This is my second. Coming up after this, we're going to another birthday party. So, I don't know. I'm out in the middle of the South Pacific, and Lee and I have a little life. We've got a life here. I mean, we get up in the morning, we go, we do our thing, and we have friends, and our kids are independent of us, and I hope they make a difference in the world and add something that their being in the world is going to be better than not being in the world.